Look. You're special, Jean. And if you stop fighting that force inside you, if you embrace it, you will possess the very power of a god.
If you could team up with anyone else in the MCU, who would it be and why?
Oh!
Brother Hammer?
Brother Hammer. Thor.
Oh, I was like, I have not heard of that.
Brother Hammer.
I'm an expert
before.
in the geek genre. But
Who was Brother Hammer?
so you would go Thor?
Yeah.
I heard
I think
he's...
anyone would go Thor.
Anyone would go Thor.
Can't wink, but I know what you're getting at there. He's Aussie, so I'm biased, naturally.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about how
You just went somewhere in your
did.
head.
You saw that.
We saw that.
He's just gorgeous, all right?
Yeah.
What would your characters do on their day off?
Oh!
I just feel like you have such intense...
I'd probably peel my skin off.
Yeah, you would.
Maybe like go for a little fly to the moon.
Yeah, I'd love to just fly around. Fly around. I wouldn't be able to fly to the moon, I don't think, but I'd have a little fly around Earth. Just check out what's going on.
Okay, cool.
See the sights.
There's a lot out there.
There's a lot to see.
You're so young as well. It's a whole new world.
A whole new...
Too damn close to your eyes. Okay. I also want to know, do you have favourites? Do you have other characters in the X-Men that you are a huge fan of and you're like, ooh, if I could have a day acting as their character with their superheroes?
The problem is if you're a fan of them, you don't want to see anyone else play that character.
Yeah, it's so true. But I really love Magneto.
So you want to play Magneto?
No, but I love him.
Actually, it's something that I did notice that you guys had a power off in a way because you know the most powerful out there, and you actually experienced having superpowers as well. There is something that I was thinking a lot about, where it's like you don't have the soundtrack or like the gorgeous Hans Zimmer score with you. You don't have CGI. You're literally there using your bodies. What is that like when you have a moment where you're just like?
I mean, you feel so stupid. So stupid, especially when it's like that scene with Jean and Magneto where it's so loud and you know, with the music on top of it and the noises of the helicopters and everything, but in reality you're just going
But what was it wasn't amazing, it was actually sad. But Fassbender was actually in pain during that scene. Remember the wires? He was being held up.
Oh, that's right.
And it's not the most comfortable situation.
No.
So he was like,
So he's like, get me out of it. I mean, it was really, I think we all felt, we weren't making that many jokes that day because we're like, we felt bad for him.
Yeah.
So I think that.
It is painful because, know, for women, it's a lot easier for women.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the bits and pieces and the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
There was an intimate moment with you guys as well where you're kind of getting a little...
Where are you going with this?
Girl?
Exchanging of powers. Let's talk about that. Honestly, like there's a moment with the yelling thing again, it's like the direct eye contact thing where you guys are looking at each other having the moment. Without the CGI and the effects, obviously that must have been fun and awkward as well.
I didn't find it awkward.
No.
I think
I would have if we had had this conversation.
Yeah, I would have
before.
too.
I'm not allowed on
like,
set
this is
ever.
weird.
I think like being on movies that you just get used to those weird, awkward things. Like even, before a director says cut, there's always a little bit too long that they leave where you have to look someone in the eye for just a bit too long, right?
Yeah.
So I think we were just kind of used to it.
She'll kill us all.
But it is, it's quite symbolic, the nature of both of you having the helmet and placing it on. I wanted to know, what was it like sort of almost doing it for the final time? Did you find it symbolic as well, or am I just like...
I didn't think about
it.
didn't think about that too much. No.
That's all right. My fangirl is showing.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
That's all right. I want to know, though, if your characters had a day off, what would you do? We never see downtime mutants, They're always saving the world and doing their thing. What would you do on your day off?
Get back to the helmet thing, because I feel like I dismissed the question. I did think about, okay, this is coming out of the box for a long time. So that's what I was thinking. It was like, okay, here we go again. Because, he was out of the conflict.
It would have been amazing if Eric had said that.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
It's on. Literally. So downtime, I enjoyed, there was little frogs that were in Genosha by the pond that we had. And I do like amphibians. So I just sort of was watching and sort of observing the frogs in between takes. So maybe that's what Eric would be doing.
I would not have expected that as an answer, so thank you. You rocked my
Surprising
world.
interview.
Yeah. What about Charles Xavier?
Nothing particularly interesting. I don't think he gets much downtime, really. But
Yes.
chess. Yeah, chess. Loves a good book. Maybe indulges in a wee bit of sci-fi. I think that might be his dirty secret.
No,
There's a
he
little
does-
bit
he
of
does
cheesy sci-fi.
romance.
Yeah, I'm just talking
And
about myself
heart-to-heart
here.
reruns.
And heart-to-heart reruns. Oh, how could you not?
Favorite X-Men moment? There's been so many movies now. What has been your, like, X gonna give it to you moment where you're just like, this is sick?
X gonna give it to you. There's been a lot, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's been a lot. The one I got to play opposite Patrick, that was pretty awesome. But then I answered that in a previous thing, and then you mentioned everything we did in first class, and I was like, we had amazing times in first class. Crashing the golf buggy
That's got to
with
be a
you
highlight.
was a highlight. I mean, it's not on film. It's not part of the film.
Which
But
is
we
such
were
a
in
shame.
costume. I know.
Today, somebody would have definitely caught that on a
Yeah.
phone.
Oh, yeah. The
Yeah.
flying
Who was
There'd
driving?
be in a drone somewhere.
He was driving. But I actually got blamed for driving. That was the beauty of it.
You did,
Yeah.
kind. Well,
But
the
because I
reason-
ended up in the driver's seat because I
Yeah.
flew over the back seat, and you ended up on the
I was
concrete.
like 10 feet away when we crashed it. It flew me off.
Yeah.
And then he'd been hanging out the back. And when I looked up, he was sitting in the driver's position looking at me like, what? And his like legs were bleeding.
Yeah, and you had a lump on your head.
Yeah.
This was a full-on accident.
Yeah.
And that's
Completely
your
of our own
highlight
making.
of the trilogy of movies.
Yeah,
You
that was
injured
really
yourself
funny.
with a golf buggy.
No, the highlight of that moment was watching you run away in a
Hysterical laughing fit.
a burglar, in a comedy caper burglar kind of walk, like a kind of like,
Flee, scatter.
it was amazing.
with bloodied knees.
With bloodied knees.
Love it. All right. Obviously, being a superhero, one of the integral parts, especially acting, is to harness the power, right? And I noticed a lot of the time here, I was thinking, without the music, without the sound effects, without the the CGI, how that must feel resonating with your power. Just like, was there a lot of those moments where you just like could look like I'm using powers, could
Could
look
look like I'm having a poo.
That was always the go-to
That
thing.
was always the go-to
What
thing.
would it be like to be constipated in this scenario?
Yeah, in this scenario.
Right now,
The
in
crunch
the air.
moment. The crunch moment.
In the air is more difficult to do.
Is it?
Well, you run the wires and.
Oh, I thought you meant like just on a plane. Like I'm always
Oh no!
constipated on a
I
plane.
mean, in character, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're not grounded and you can't like.
Exactly. You can't feel the sort of,
There's nothing to
connection
push
to the
against.
ground.
Yes.
Is that the technique?
No
Is it a
purchase.
pushing?
I don't do this one as much because I really there's not as
You
much.
suck it in. You're trying not to poo.
Yours
'Cause-
is here.
Yeah.
You'll twitch.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
A little bit of
I'm
like
glad you noticed that.
Yeah, that's the one.
I'll take that forward
Eyes
with
water
me.
for you.
Yeah. Always, when in doubt, just pull a couple of hairs.
That's a friend's joke, and I know
is,
that, and
that's
I'm
right.
calling you out on it. Yeah.
I'm stealing it.
Joey Tribbiani does
That's
the old
right.
twink twink.
Yeah.
JT.
This is your fault, Charles. I tried to protect her.
I'm scared. When I lose control, bad things happen to people I love.
Favorite thing? There's been so many X-Men movies. Obviously, like the old crew and the new crew, as I've dubbed it, even though it's not that new anymore. What's your favorite moment that happened in? I know, right? Favorite moment that happened in an X-Men movie, whether you were in it or not.
You mean, okay, inside of the movie or like in the experience of filming it? Or
You know what? Whatever resonates with you. Right?
Yeah, let that happen. Storm and Wolverine have this love sequence in Days of Futures Past that didn't actually make it into the movie, but in the like extra scenes or whatever, there's a moment where they're like, oh,
Storm and who?
Wolverine.
Oh, wow.
So like if Hugh Jackman wanted to reprise his role, and you can see what happens on camera.
Just
Or-
little smooshy smoosh.
yeah.
For the sake of the
Just
characters.
just like a quick peck, I would be fine with. Honestly, let me smell his hair.
Less is more.
You know what I mean?
it smells good.
I bet it does.
Yeah.
Probably perfect.
Favorite moment, favorite scene, favorite
Oh,
experience,
Like ever.
experience.
Ever? I like in the first one when the senator melts. Like he's like water and he's like
when he became like a
like-
jellyfish.
Yeah, he's like a jellyfish. It's incredible.
I think about that at least once a month.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looked like that fish that you find like really deep in the ocean that
With
has like the light.
And the sad nose.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sad nose.
Yeah.
Angler, I think it's called.
God, you're
Could be
good.
wrong. Don't quote
Koi
me
poi?
on that.
Koi koi?
Ty, you got some?
I mean, you
Favorite?
know, I don't know if I have a favorite moment.
Says Blake.
Yeah, maybe.
If you could team up with any other hero in the MCU, who would it be?
My favorite moments from this film, it happens at the end of the film, so I can't say.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
It's a good pivot.
Yeah, but people need to go see it because it's you know what moment I'm talking about?
I wanna,
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
I want to team up with Groot.
Cute.
Right?
Yeah.
Storm and Groot.
Yeah.
I am Groot. I am Storm. Like, it'd be great. Our conversations would be really
You
one-sided.
could water him all the time.
All the time.
And he would grow.
Huh.
Top it, guys.
Top that?
I don't want to have favorites
Can't.
here, but I have a favorite.
Deadpool?
Who would you team up? Yeah, Deadpool. That'd be
Who would I team up with?
He's pretty funny.
Anyone.
Anyone?
Yeah.
Magneto?
This daddy issue thing is
I
like,
mean, we gotta
It's in
resolve
his
it.
brain.
wholesome,
Yeah.
but
He feels
It's
it
like
on a
if-
visceral level.
Yeah, it's hard to carry on without it.
what happens if you run into Michael in the hall? Is it like, do you stare him down a little bit? And you're
Yeah,
like,
just
anytime,
hey,
buddy.
What's up, dude?
Just use the phone.
Maybe let's go hang out.
Girl dies.
She's still Jean. We can still help her.
Sometimes you want to believe people are something that they are not. By the time you realize who they are, it's too late.
I keep calling them the new crew, and they're not new anymore at all.
It's been almost 10 years now, yeah.
I know. So, are you thinking about the next step, or are we?
I certainly, in making this, like I said, I imagined that this was the culmination of this cycle of X-Men storytelling, because this X-Men First Class cast came together as a family. They were strangers as characters in X-Men First Class. They came together over these various movies, and in this one, they're sort of torn apart and challenged like they never have been before, and lose people in their midst, and then ultimately come back together. And so it felt like, if you've seen any of the X-Men movies, and especially if you've seen any of the X-Men First Class cast movies, you sort of need to see this one to sort of tie it off. It's like the last episode of your favorite show. Having said that, I'm sure there'll be future X-Men movies. I just wasn't thinking about them because I was so focused on this one and telling this one in a way that felt complete. Like it completed the journey of 9 years of storytelling for the First Class cast and really 20 years of storytelling for all of the X-Men movies.
Let's play favorites.
Okay.
I know they're your children. Who are they? Who are your favorites and why?
Favorite characters?
Yeah. Favorite X-Men, yeah.
Favorite X-Men, yeah, no. Growing up reading the comic, Magneto was always my favorite character. I just love the complexity of a villain who has such a sympathetic backstory and who has, is just a badass. And so Magneto was always my favorite character in the comics. And I've loved the way that Ian and Michael have played him in the films too.
My favorite Michael Fassbender is a pissed off Michael Fassbender.
What's so great about a pissed off Michael Fassbender is like he does it with like so much nuance. Like he doesn't need to yell, he doesn't need to attack. Like it's in his eyes. He has the most expressive eyes as an actor, and it was something I was really trying to explore in this film. And something that Michael and I talked about a lot is like he can do so much with so little, and that's true for many of the best actors. So he's my favorite.